The wind on the mining colony was dry and full of dust. It howled between the rocks like a whisper of something ancient. 17-year-old Ethan Monroe walked through the abandoned site, his backpack slung over one shoulder. The sky above him was dull orange, with twin suns slowly setting. He was looking for scrap-holed metal parts, wires, anything he could sell for a few credits back in the small outpost town. This colony used to be full of workers, machines, and noise. Now it was silent. Ethan liked the silence. It gave him time to think. As he climbed over a broken pipeline, his boot slipped, and he nearly fell. He cursed softly under his breath and looked ahead. That's when he saw something strange. A fence. Tall, new. With lights on it, no one was supposed to be here. The place was marked abandoned by the Earth Mining Company 2 years ago. He dropped low, hiding behind a rusted cargo crate. The fence surrounded an area about the size of a football field. Inside, there were a few small metal buildings, a landed ship, and a cage. A cage? Ethan narrowed his eyes. It wasn't just any Khajiit. It was high-tech, with glowing lines on the bars. Energy fields buzzed between them like blue fire, and inside the cage was someone, no, not someone, something. He crept closer, using the shadows and piles of junk to hide. From about 10 meters away, he got a better look. It was a girl, but not human. She had blue skin smooth like glass, with glowing silver patterns on her arms and face. Her eyes were bright silver, large and full of fear. She sat curled in the corner of the cage, her arms wrapped around her knees. She looked young, maybe Ethan's age. Her clothes were torn, and one of her legs was bandaged with a rough piece of cloth. She looked up suddenly. Her eyes met Ethan's. He froze. The girl didn't scream. She didn't speak. She just stared at him as if trying to decide whether he was real or not. Ethan raised both hands slowly to show he wasn't a threat. He whispered, "Don't worry. I'm not here to hurt you." The girl didn't move. Then he heard voices. Human voices. 2 guards, walking from the nearby ship. They wore black armor and carried pulse rifles. One of them laughed. "You think anyone's gonna pay for her? She's just another alien runt." "Boss says she's special," said the other. "Something about her blood. That's why we keep her alive." Ethan's heart pounded. These weren't company men. These were illegal traffickers. He looked back at the girl. Her eyes hadn't left him. "Hang on," he whispered. "Help you." He didn't know why he said it. He didn't know who she was. He only knew that keeping someone locked in a cage like that was wrong. He waited until the guards disappeared into one of the buildings. Then he moved fast. At the side of the cage was a small control panel. Ethan knew old tech. He'd grown up around machines. This one was complex, but not impossible. He pulled a small tool from his belt and started working on the wires. A minute passed. Then to Dot inside the cage, the girl slowly stood. She limped to the edge, watching him closely. Ethan felt sweat on his forehead. "Come on." A spark flew from the panel. Blue lights on the cage flickered, then dash click. The bars vanished. The girl didn't move at first. She looked around, unsure. Ethan whispered, "Go now." She stepped out slowly as if she didn't believe she was free. Her silver eyes locked on his. She opened her mouth and spoke softly. The words were strange, musical. He didn't understand them. She pointed to herself. Then she pointed. "To him, Ethan," he said. She gave a small nod, suddenly shouting. Guards had spotted the open cage. "Move." Ethan grabbed her hand, and they ran. They dashed through broken metal halls and piles of old mining gear. Behind them, the guards shouted and fired. Laser bolts hit the walls, sending sparks flying. Alla moved fast, even with her hurt leg. Didn't speak again, but she held Ethan's hand tightly. They reached a narrow gap in the wall. Ethan had found it during one of his scavenging runs. He slipped through and helped her crawl after him. They rolled down a sandy slope and landed behind a large pipe. Silence. The guards didn't follow. Maybe they didn't know about the gap. Maybe they were scared of the dark. Ethan sat back, breathing. Hard Alla lay beside him, staring up at the sky. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Finally, she sat up and looked at him. Her expression had changed. She wasn't scared anymore. She touched her chest. Allah, she repeated. Ethan smiled, even though he was exhausted. Yeah, I got it. She looked up at the stars, then back at him. She placed a hand on his shoulder, gave a short nod, then pointed to the sky, then to herself. She was leaving. He understood. She stood, limped away into the shadows of the rocks, and disappeared. Ethan sat there a while, staring after her. He didn't know who she was. He didn't know where she was going. But he knew one thing. That moment had changed everything. It had been 5 years since Ethan freed the alien girl named Allah. Now, he lived on Earth, in a small apartment in New Denver, a city full of tall buildings, flying cars, and people too busy to notice anyone. He worked at a repair shop, fixing old machines and delivery bots. Life was simple, a little boring, and sometimes lonely. Ethan never told anyone about Allah. Who would believe him? A strange alien girl locked in a cage, now vanished into the stars. It sounded like a dream or a lie, but he remembered everything. Her glowing silver eyes, her quiet voice, the way she ran into the night free at last. Sometimes he looked at the sky and wondered, where are you now, Allah? One rainy evening, Ethan was walking home from work. His jacket was old and torn, and the wind was cold. A giant holoscreen on a building showed news about a rising star in the galaxy. The anchor spoke with excitement. In today's top story, Laurie Zenth, the mysterious alien billionaire and founder of Zenth Galactic, has made her first visit to Earth. Her company now controls nearly half of all trade routes between human and alien planets. She is said to be the youngest and richest alien entrepreneur in history. Ethan stopped. He looked up at the screen. Woman on it had blue skin and silver eyes. His heart skipped a beat. Her face was older now. Her clothes were elegant, and her voice was calm and confident. But he recognized her. It was Allah. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. Could it really be her? Did she remember him? He stared at the ceiling, trying to forget. But the memory burned too bright the next morning. Something strange happened. As Ethan ate his breakfast, a soft ding came from the door. Not a knock, a signal from a high-class visitor system. He had never even used it before. He opened the door and froze. Standing outside was a woman in a long silver coat, wearing dark glasses. Behind her stood a sleek black car, floating above the ground. She spoke with a clear voice. Mr. Ethan Monroe. Yeah, said carefully. The Lady Ilery requests your presence. Ethan blinked. Wait, what? Ilery? You mean the... Woman didn't answer. She simply opened the car door. Ethan hesitated, but something deep inside told him this wasn't a trick. He got in. The car flew smoothly over the city, heading toward the edge. It landed on a private landing pad where a strange, tall ship stood, sleek, beautiful, and definitely not human, made inside. The ship was quiet and glowing with soft blue lights, and there she stood, Ayla. She had changed. She wore a long royal blue cloak and carried herself like a leader. But when she turned and saw Ethan, her eyes lit up not with power, but with something softer, recognition. Double quotes, Ethan Monroe, she said, her voice smoother than he remembered. It's good to see you again. He stared. It really is you. She nodded slowly. He laughed nervously. I thought I dreamed you. I thought I'd never find you, she said, but I did. Looked around the ship, still amazed. So, you're a billionaire now? She gave a small smile.
Yes.
Thanks to you. Ethan blinked. Me. Set me free, she said. Without you, I never would have returned to my people. I never would have become who I am. He scratched his head. All I did was open a cage. That was enough, she said softly. Allah walked with Ethan through the ship. Windows showed the stars beyond. Strange lights moved through the sky. People had been hiding, she explained. After our empire fell long ago, we scattered across the galaxy, but we still had knowledge in ancient technology, trade secrets, and diplomacy skills. She paused. When I returned, they listened. I told them what happened. I told them about a human who risked his life to help me. Ethan looked away. Didn't do it for thanks. I know, she said. That's why it mattered. They entered a small room with a wide view of Earth below. Allah sat on a smooth chair and gestured for Ethan to sit across from her. I've built an empire, she said. I've helped millions. But I always remembered the boy who opened the door. Ethan felt a strange mix of pride and confusion. So why come back now? Hila's face grew serious, because Earth is in danger. His heart skipped. What kind of danger? She looked out the window. There is a group-hold, powerful secret. They control many planets. They did not want humans to grow strong. They wanted me to stay silent. My imprisonment wasn't random, it was a warning. Ethan's fists tightened. They tried to use you. She nodded. But now, they fear you. He frowned. Me. You are proof that humans care, she said. That they don't always choose war or greed. Some choose kindness, she said. Can change everything. Ethan sat back, stunned. So, what happens now? Allah leaned forward. I want you to come with me. Not just to thank you, but because I believe you are meant to do more. Do more? Yes, she said. To help shape what comes next. A new future. For Earth? For the galaxy. He looked out at the stars. 5 years ago, he was just a boy in a desert, helping a stranger. Now that stranger had come back with ship's power, and a warning. Maybe it was time to stop fixing broken machines and start fixing something bigger. Ethan stood at the edge of a new world. He was no longer in his small apartment or dusty workshop. He was now on Hila's ship, orbiting high above Earth. The stars stretched around him like a sea of lights, endless and mysterious. Allah had given him a guest room that looked like something from the future. The walls glowed with soft blue lights. The bed was warm and smooth. Everything smelled clean and fresh, but Ethan couldn't sleep. Too many thoughts filled his head. Why him? Why now? Allah was one of the richest and most powerful people in the NA. Galaxy. She could have chosen anyone, yet she came back to find him, the boy who once freed her. He sat up and looked out the wide window. Earth floated below like a blue and green marble. There was a soft knock. The door opened, and Allah stepped in. She wore a simple silver robe now, her hair tied back. She looked calm, but there was something serious in her eyes. Can't sleep? She asked. Ethan shook his head. Too many questions. I understand, she said, sitting across from him. Why did you really come back? He asked. Was it just to say thank you? Allah shook her head slowly. No, I came because I need you. Ethan blinked. Me. You may not realize it, Ethan, she said, but you changed more than one life that day. She stood and walked toward the window. After you freed me, I returned to my people. I showed them what the humans had done, what you had done. We were inspired. My people were tired of hiding. We wanted to build something again, a place where aliens and humans could work together. Ethan listened quietly. I started a company, Allah continued. We made trade ships, medical tools, farming machines, things the galaxy needed. Became wealthy, yes, but it was never about money. It was about hope. And the others? The ones who captured you? Ethan asked. They were part of a secret group, she said. A group that fears humans. They think your kind is too unpredictable, too emotional. They wanted to keep humans small and quiet. They wanted to silence me. Ethan frowned. That's not fair. No, it's not, Allah agreed. But now they know I'm back. They know Earth is waking up. You humans are starting to explore space faster than they expected. She looked at him, her silver eyes shining. That's why I need you, me. What can I do? You are a symbol, she said. A human who acted with kindness, not for profit or power. When you freed me, you showed what humanity could be. You made a choice without expecting anything in return. Ethan scratched the back of his neck. I just didn't want to leave you there, and that's why it mattered. Allah brought Ethan to the command room the next day. It was a large space with floating screens, alien maps, and a clear view of the stars. Several alien officers stood at stations, some tall and thin, others short and furry. All of them nodded respectfully to Alan, looked at Ethan with curiosity. "This is Ethan Monroe," Allah told them. "He's to be treated as my personal advisor." Ethan nearly choked. "Advisor." Allah smiled gently. "You'll learn." They showed him charts of space routes, trade stations, and political borders. One area blinked in red. "The Council of Galactic Order," Allah explained. "They appear peaceful. But behind closed doors, they manipulate. They control markets, block technology, and slow human progress." "Why?" Ethan asked. "Because they fear what they don't control." One officer spoke in a deep voice. "They've sent warnings. Light attacks. Sabotage. They may move against Earth soon." Ethan looked at Allah. "And you think I can help stop that?" "I know you can," she said. "It's not as a fighter, but as someone who reminds others what matters." Later, Allah took Ethan to a training bay. "Even symbols need to stay alive," she said with a smirk. Ethan laughed nervously. "I haven't fought anyone in my life." "Then it's time to learn." He trained with a small group of alien guards. They taught him how to move, how to block, how to think in battle. It wasn't easy, and he fell more than once. But he got up each time. Allah watched from a distance, a proud look in her eyes. Days passed quickly. Ethan began to feel at home on the ship. He talked with engineers, traders, diplomats. Many of them respected humans, but had never met one before. They asked him questions about Earth, about music, food, emotions. He shared stories about movies, pizza, rain, kindness, and they listened. Allah often walked with him after dinner, showing him more about her world. One evening, as they stood under a clear dome watching the stars, Ethan asked, "Do you think the Council will really attack?" Hila's face turned serious. "Yes. They already tried to block our trade routes near Mars, and one of our ships was nearly destroyed." "Then what do we do?" She looked at him. "We stand together. We speak the truth. We fight. We fight." Ethan nodded slowly. He wasn't a warrior, but he wasn't afraid either. Not anymore that night. As he lay in bed again, Ethan stared at the stars. He thought about how much had changed. Once, he was just a boy in a dusty colony, fixing machines and dreaming of stars. Now, he was part of something bigger, and he was ready. Whatever came next, he would face it, because sometimes freeing someone else is how you free yourself. The stars outside the ship looked peaceful, but inside the control room, things were not peaceful at all. Ethan stood beside Allah as her officers, moved quickly between glowing screens. Red warning lights blinked on the large map of space in front of them. Strange alien symbols kept flashing near a cluster of planets just beyond Mars. Allah looked serious. "They've made their move," she said. Ethan's heart beat faster. "The Council?" "Yes," Allah replied. "They just blocked our supply ships heading toward Earth's moon. No attack, just a warning." "They want us to be afraid," said one of her guards. "But we won't be," Allah replied calmly. "We'll answer them." Later, Allah called a private meeting in the ship's strategy room. The walls were covered with moving images, galactic charts, old documents, and live feeds from their scouts. Ethan sat beside her. He still wasn't used to being in such high-level meetings, but no one questioned his place anymore. Allah spoke first. "The Council of Galactic Order believes humans are not ready for space. They fear your emotions, your creativity, your hunger to explore. They fear change." A small alien officer with green skin leaned forward. "They've held power for too long, but things are shifting. Trade is rising. Earth is learning fast." "But Earth is also alone," said another officer. "No alliances, no space army. They are easy to scare." Ethan spoke for the first time. "So we show them. We're not afraid." Everyone looked at him. "How?" Allah asked, curious. "We speak to Earth. We tell them the truth. Let the people know what's happening out here. If the council wants silence, we give Earth a voice instead. Elah's eyes sparkled. Bold. They deserve to know, Ethan said. She nodded. Then let's do it. That night, Elah's ship sent out a signal strong, clear, and unfiltered. It traveled fast, across space, across satellites, till it reached Earth's media networks, all across the planet. On every major screen, a message began to play. A calm voice spoke in English. But the message was translated into many languages. At once, people of Earth. This is Ilari Zenth. You know me as a visitor, as a business leader. But I come to you today not for trade, but for truth. The screen showed images of stars, peaceful cities in space, alien children laughing, and Earth rising above the moon. A secret council watches your world. They fear your growth. They fear your hope. But not everyone in the galaxy feels this. Way. Then the camera slowly turned. Ethan appeared on screen beside Allah. He looked surprised but calm. This is Ethan Monroe, Allah said. He once saved my life when I was in a cage. He didn't know who I was. He had nothing to gain. But he chose kindness. Because of that act, my life changed. And now, I return to stand beside him. To stand beside Earth. The message ended with one final line. You are not alone. And we will not let the silence win. The next day, everything changed. Earth's networks exploded with news. Alien Billionaire sends message to Earth. Who is Ethan Monroe? Galaxy. Watches as Earth speaks up. Ethan's old repair shop got flooded with reporters. His old neighbors stared at their screens in shock. People began to talk not just about aliens, but about unity, choices, and hope. Back on Elah's ship, the crew cheered. Their message had reached billions, but not everyone was happy. 2 nights later, a small ship approached them. It was dark, fast, and carried no ID signal. The radar operator called out, "Unknown ship entering zone." Allah stood, shields up. Small ship sent a transmission. A rough voice came through. This is a private warning. Turn back, Earth is not ready. Keep speaking and we will act. Allah didn't reply. She simply tapped the control panel. Their ship sent out a wide signal. Broadcasting the message to every listening ear, Ethan looked at her. You wanted everyone to hear that, didn't you? She smiled slightly. Yes. Let the galaxy know the truth. The unknown ship vanished as quickly as it came, but the message had been sent. Later, in the quiet of her garden room and area on the ship, with green plants and glowing light, Allah and Ethan sat on a soft bench. Ethan looked around. This place is beautiful. It reminds me of home, Allah said softly. You're not afraid, are you? Ethan asked. No, she replied. I've faced fear before. When I was in that cage, I thought my story was over, but you reminded me it wasn't. Ethan smiled. I think maybe we're writing a new story now. Allah looked up at the artificial stars above the garden. Yes, but we have more work to do. The next morning a reply came. It was not from the council. It was from another alien race, one that had also been quiet for many years, the Varen. Their message was short. We heard your words. Earth may not be ready, but it is willing. We stand with you. Contact us. Ethan looked at Allah. Did you expect that? No, she said. But this is good. He realized then what they had started. A ripple. One small act of kindness had become a voice. That voice had become a message. And now, the message was becoming a movement. As the ship floated above Earth, and more messages began to come from other planets, Ethan knew this was just the beginning. But for the first time in his life, he didn't feel small. He felt like a part of something greater, and he was ready to keep going, no matter how far it reached. The large hall inside Elah's ship was now full of life. Alien leaders from different planets stood beside human scientists and diplomats. Bright flags from several worlds floated in the air. Light music from another galaxy played softly in the background. For the first time in history, humans and aliens were talking as equals under one roof. In peace, Ethan looked around, amazed. Just a few weeks ago, he was fixing machines on a dusty planet. Now he was standing at the front of a galactic meeting. Beside him stood Allah, dressed in royal silver and deep blue. Her eyes were calm, but sharp. She was watching every face, every movement. "This is bigger than I imagined," Ethan whispered. Allah nodded. "And it's just the beginning." A long table had been prepared in the middle of the room. Leaders and representatives sat down one by one. Ethan noticed many of them staring at him not with anger, but with curiosity. A tall being with 3 glowing eyes leaned forward. "You are the human they speak of." Ethan stood straight. "I'm just someone who helped a friend. That's all." The alien smiled. "Sometimes small things shake stars." Allah gave a short speech to open the meeting. She spoke about unity, truth, and fairness. She told them about the Council of Galactic Order, how they were blocking Earth, limiting freedom and spreading fear. Then she did something bold. She stepped aside and let Ethan speak. Ethan wasn't a trained speaker. He didn't know much about politics or big space plans, but he spoke from the heart. "I don't have special powers," he said. "I'm not a hero. I was just a mechanic." He looked around at the leaders. "But when I saw Allah in a cage, I couldn't walk away. I didn't know who she was or where she was from. I just knew it was wrong. That choice changed her life. And now she's changing mine." He paused. "Earth is young. We make mistakes, but we learn, we grow, and we care. We're not perfect, but we're worth trusting." The hall was silent. Then slowly, one by one, aliens began to nod after. The meeting, several planets agreed to work with Earth. The Varan, who had already sent their support, offered energy-sharing technology. The Taraxi, small fox-like creatures, offered translation systems. Even some members of the council secretly reached out, tired of its control. But not everyone was happy. The Council of Galactic Order sent a message. "This will not be allowed. Earth is not ready. You are inviting chaos." Allah showed the message to her team. "Then we're doing something right," she said. A few days later, Ethan and Allah visited Earth. Their ship landed outside a special science base built in a desert. Crowds waited behind fences, waving flags, and signs that read, "Welcome Allah, thank you Ethan, peace to the stars." Ethan was nervous. He wasn't used to cameras or cheering people. But Allah held his hand for a moment and smiled. "They're cheering for what you stand for," she said, "not just who you are." He smiled back. "I hope I keep deserving it." They entered the base and met with human leaders, scientists, and space engineers. Allah shared technology Earth had never seen: clean energy, healing scanners, star maps with safe travel paths. One scientist, an older woman, looked at Ethan and whispered, "You really did change the future." Ethan just nodded, still feeling a little overwhelmed. Later that evening, Allah and Ethan stood on a rooftop, looking at the stars. "Do you think this will last?" he asked. "I believe it can," she said. "But only if we stay strong." The council is quiet now, but they won't stay that way. Ethan frowned. "What do you think they'll do?" "They'll try to divide us," she said from the inside. "Fear is their strongest weapon." "But we have something stronger," Ethan said. "Hope." Allah smiled. "Yes, and courage." That night, a quiet message came through. A deep voice said, "This is your last warning. Stay silent, or Earth will suffer." No ship was seen. No name was given, but the threat was clear. Allah called her top guards. She put her ship on alert. Ethan watched as the ship shifted into defense mode, walls glowing, systems humming, but no attack came. Not yet. Instead, a strange thing happened the next morning. One of Earth's communication satellites stopped working. Then a large city power grid shut down for 6 hours. There were no signs of attack, just silence. But Allah knew. "They're testing us," she said. She called a meeting with Earth's leaders and her alien allies. "We cannot let fear control our steps," she said. "We must show them we won't turn back." One Earth general asked, "What if they strike harder next time?" Ethan stood up. "Then we stand taller." Ela's ship returned to orbit, stronger than before. It was no longer just a business. Shipit had become a symbol of friendship and courage. Ethan was given a new room, closer to the command center. He had a badge now. It read, "Human Allah, Unity Advisor, MO1. He laughed when he saw it. I guess I have a title now. Allah smiled. You earned it. That night, as stars drifted past his window, Ethan didn't feel afraid. He thought of all the people they had met, all the hands they had shaken, all the promises they had made, and he knew something clearly now. This wasn't just Ila's mission anymore. It was their mission, and whatever came next, they would face it together. The stars looked quiet, but Allah knew better. From her command chair, she watched the screen in front of her. Strange patterns danced across the radar. Tiny lights blinked at the edge of the system. They are watching us, she said softly. Ethan stood nearby, arms crossed, his face serious. Still no message? None? Just silence. And movement in the shadows, Allah replied. They both knew what it meant. The Council of Galactic Order was preparing something. They had failed to scare Earth with words. Now they were getting ready to act. That evening, a small ship arrived at Ila's cruiser. It came without lights, almost invisible to the eye. A secret visitor had come. The guard stepped forward. Allah raised a hand. Let them in. A tall alien stepped out of the small ship. His skin was silver blue. His eyes were tired but kind. I am Darnex, he said. I used to be part of the council. Ethan narrowed his eyes. Used to be? Darnex nodded. I left them too. Cycles ago. I could no longer follow their ways. Then why are you here? Allah asked. To warn you, he said. They are sending something to Earth. A machine. Silent. Dangerous. It won't fire weapons. It won't break trust. Darnox showed them a small device. This is part of it, he explained. It sends fake signals. It will make Earth think Ila's ship is spying. It will twist your message. It will make your friends question you. They want to turn Earth against us, Ethan said, his voice tight. Yes, Darnix replied. They fear your bond, your kindness, so they will poison it. Allah held the device in her hand. Her fingers tightened around it. Then we must act before they do. The next day, Allah called an emergency meeting with Earth's top leaders. She showed them the device and told them everything Darnix had revealed. Some believed her, immediately, but others were unsure. A general from Earth's eastern zone frowned. How do we know this isn't a trick? What if this device was planted by you? Ethan stepped forward. Allah has done nothing but help. You've seen it. So have I. A younger scientist nodded. He's right. But maybe we can prove the truth. She brought out a scanning tool and tested the device. Signal pattern doesn't match Ila's ship tech, she confirmed. This isn't hers. There was silence in the room. Finally, the general sighed. All right, we trust you. For now, and Earth must stay alert. Back on the ship, Allah walked beside Ethan in the long hallway. This is harder than war, she said. What is? He asked. Keeping peace, she replied. In war, enemies are clear. In peace, danger hides in every shadow. Ethan looked ahead. So we bring the shadows into the light, she smiled. Like a leader, he shrugged. That's just a repair guy who's learning. Later that night, a signal came through the ship's long-range scanner. It was short and broken, but clear enough false alarm near Earth's moon. Allah, ship seen. Possible spy tech. Earth base confused. They've started, Allah said. They're trying to make it look like you're spying, Ethan added. Darnix leaned forward. They will send more signals, more lies. You must get ahead of them. How? Allah asked. Ethan had an idea. Let's go live again, he said. Within the hour, Lost Ship broadcast another message to Earth and friendly planets. This time, Ethan spoke first. Some people want you to fear us. They want you to think we're hiding something. He held up the fake device. This was sent to trick you. But the truth is stronger than lies. Allah stood beside him. We are here to build trust, not break it, she said. But trust works both ways. We ask you not to listen to shadows. Come into the light with us. After the message, support from Earth grew again. People sent messages from cities and space stations. We believe you, Allah. Stay strong, Ethan. Peace matters more than fear. But one voice stood out. Deep, familiar voice. The council finally replied. It wasn't a video or a long message, just one line. This ends now. Then the stars blinked. Suddenly lights disappeared across parts of Earth. Space stations lost connection. Satellites turned silent. A dark ship appeared near the moon, huge, black, and silent. It did not attack, it just floated and blocked the path between Earth and Ela's ship, A. While in the sky, Ethan watched the dark ship from the observation deck. He clenched his fists. They're trying to scare us again. La stood beside him, her voice calm but cold. This time we don't run. She turned to her crew. Call the Varan. Call the Taraxi. Call every planet that stood with us. Tell them what's happening. Yes. Commander, the guard shouted. Ethan looked at her. You're going to fight? Only if we must, she said. But first, we show them how many stand with Earth. Ships began to arrive. Not for war, but for peace. One by one, colorful. Ships from different galaxies came into view. They did not fire. They simply lined up beside Ela's ship. A wall of peace, a light against the shadow. From Earth. People looked up and saw something they would never forget. Dozens of ships glowing bright in the night sky, standing between Earth and darkness. One human child pointed at the sky and said, "They came for us." His mother nodded, tears in her eyes. Yes, they really did. In space, the dark ship remained silent. But now, it was outnumbered shit. Outloved, and then it left no fight. Just silence. And then it was gone. Allah turned to Ethan. We didn't win with weapons. We won with truth. Ethan smiled. He won with unity. But as peace returned to the stars once again, Allah knew one thing deep in her heart. The battle for Earth's future wasn't over, but now they had something powerful on their side. The dark ship had vanished all across Earth. And the galaxy, people watched the stars with wide eyes and hopeful hearts. Ela's ship floated calmly in orbit, surrounded by allies, bright, colorful vessels from many worlds, united without weapons. In her command room, Allah stood silently. Her hands rested on the table, eyes locked on the stars. It's over, she whispered. Ethan stood behind her, still watching the last trace of the council's warship disappear into the black sky. Or maybe, he said, it's just the beginning. In the following days, Earth was filled with energy and life. News channels reported the event as the Night of Light, when alien ships stood for peace. Children learned the name Allah like a legend from a storybook. Streets were decorated with glowing stars, drawings of starships, and messages of hope. Allah and Ethan were invited to speak at the United Nations building. The first time in history, a non-human addressed Earth's leaders in person. Allah stepped up to the podium. She looked calm, yet warm. I came here years ago as a prisoner, she began. I returned as a friend. But today I stand before you as family. The room erupted in applause. Then Ethan stepped forward. When I freed Allah, I didn't know who she was. I just saw someone in trouble, he said. I didn't expect anything back, but that one small choice changed everything. He paused, then smiled. Maybe that's what we all need to remember. One kind act can shape the future. Speech. Earth signed its first official peace and cooperation agreement with Ela's home planet and 4 other alien worlds. A new alliance was born, not for war, but for learning, building, and protecting one another. They called it the Star Unity Pact. Ethan's name was included in the document as founding witness. He couldn't stop smiling when he saw it. Weeks passed, and the galaxy slowly calmed. The Council of Galactic Order had not returned. Many believed they were too ashamed, or perhaps they realized their old ways could no longer control a changing galaxy. Still, Ella remained watchful. She increased patrols, helped smaller planets defend themselves, and trained new peacekeepers. Ethan helped too, though he still preferred building tools and repairing engines. One evening, he was fixing a power coil when Allah walked in, holding something behind her back. Busy? She asked. He looked up, wiping grease off his hands. Only saving the ship from another cold shower. She laughed, then handed him a small box. He opened it and froze. Inside was a smooth badge, made of silver and crystal. It read, Ethan M. Earth Ambassador to the Galactic Peace Council. He stared at it, then looked at her. I'm an ambassador. Allah smiled. Heard you already were. Now it's official. But Allah had one more surprise. She guided Ethan through a long hallway, deeper into the ship than he had ever gone. At the end, a round door opened. Inside was a new ship, a smaller, faster vessel made for 2 people. Ethan's mouth dropped open. You built this with help, she said. It's yours and mine, for exploring, for helping, for anything we choose. He walked slowly around it. The ship was sleek silver, and had Earth's blue and green pattern painted under its wings. On the side, one name was written, Unity Star. He turned to her. Where do we go first? La gave him a playful look. Anywhere. And continued. Together they visited planets that had never seen humans. They helped rebuild places hurt by old wars. They delivered food, medicine, and stories of hope. Everywhere they went, people asked the same question. How did all this begin? And Ethan always answered the same way. I just opened a door. Back on Earth, people didn't forget. Statues were built in cities, one of Allah, offering her hand. And Ethan reaching out to her. Schools taught about the first peace between Earth and the stars. Songs were written. Even a holiday was created. Unity Day. Celebrated under the stars each year. Children would look up at the night sky and whisper, Thank you, Ethan. Thank you, Allah. One day, as they flew near a quiet moon, Allah asked, Do you ever miss your old life? Ethan thought for a moment. Sometimes he said, But I don't miss the silence. I don't miss feeling small. Now, I feel like I matter. You always did, Allah said. He smiled. I know that now. Their bond grew deeper, not just as friends, but as partners in every way. They were different in many ways, one from Earth, the other from the stars. But their hearts beat with the same hope, to build a galaxy where kindness, truth, and courage led the way. And wherever they flew, wherever they landed, one thing became clear. The universe was big, but hope was bigger. Epilogue. Years later, a small girl stood in front of a museum on Earth. She pointed at a glass case holding a silver badge and a crystal star-shaped pin. Who were they? She asked her mother. Her mother smiled. They were 2 friends who saved the galaxy, she said. One human, one alien. They taught everyone that no matter where you're from, what matters most is what you do. The girl looked up at the sky. Do you think they're still out there? The mother nodded. I do. High above, among the stars, a small ship glowed and drifted peacefully. It carried no weapons. It's just 2 hearts full of light. Their journey wasn't over. It had just begun.